We are on things, which is kind of what I do. There's really nothing, there's really only one thing to approve anyway, and that's the last thing on the agenda. So, so we can't approve the minutes, but we will do the East Side Terminal Plan, where we are on that. We approved the article that voted Bobby Friday and asked him where it was, and he said they hadn't heard back, but not hearing back is a good thing. While I'm on this, I will talk a little bit. I think I sent all of y'all a report that it was, bottom line, it didn't say that in the article. The project came in $3,000 over budget on a $3.2 million project, which I think is pretty good. And we were 30 days late, if you will, which really wasn't a problem since we didn't get phase 4 funding. But I felt Will, why don't you and Sherry Lee kind of talk about that a little bit? We had a good meeting.
Do you want me to come out?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll yield to you, Sherry Lee.
Oh, you go.
Go ahead.
So, are we?
We're live.
Okay.
We're live.
We don't have a quorum, but we're still on. Okay.
We're not in a quorum.
So, I guess about October of last year, I know the mayor had started talking with some of the universities, Auburn, Alabama, others, and then I started reaching out to center, which is under construction and doing really well in a lot of programs, and then they have K through 12 programs. As it was what happened yesterday. So they had the Aviation Center, Bill Hutto came along with James. What's James's? Hold on.
Youngblood?
Gonna have to cheat. Birdsong.
Birdsong.
Youngblood, Birdsong, yeah. Bloodworth.
Yeah.
So they came out and spent the day with us, or a good portion of the day until after lunch, and we talked about, it was just a preliminary conversation, the opportunities.
Exceptional meeting. Birsong's presentation on kind of the future of aviation.
I have emailed him for a copy.
That would be really a good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have him.
Number of
present.
pilots retiring, number of air traffic controllers, things that they're doing. I mean, from an academician's viewpoint of what, I just thought it was just great.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It was.
And to me, I mean, yes, there's a shortage in the field, which we talked about, the firing of all the air traffic controllers under the Reagan administration, and then the baby boomer retiring statistic. So there is a massive shortage. That combined with our globalism and air travel ramping up is creating a huge opportunity. And if we're able to work with our aviation academy that we already have there, which is a fantastic program, and provide some sort of pipeline for kids to get into aviation and get some training and get them excited about these opportunities. A lot of them don't even know that it's a possibility for them to go into this field. Having Auburn at the table to provide some of that pipeline that then leads to jobs, that's what we want. So that was the idea behind getting them here.
And in preparing for our meeting, I reached out to Lee Lawson. There are 1,300 aviation jobs within 15 miles of the airport.
Mm-hmm.
That's UTC, Aero, Seegers, and Continental. And he said it was the biggest aviation cluster in Alabama. So those A&P jobs, training people for those jobs. Auburn saw that as part of their mission, which was my takeaway from the. We talked about drones and we talked about a lot of other things, but
yes, and agriculture, and so we have some unique opportunities on the Eastern Shore, and especially, in our area for agriculture and drone technology. Some of that is still being developed, but nothing but positive conversations out of it. So we'll go on from here. And I agree with you. I think that presentation was fantastic. Be great to have it here for this.
Will you,
I requested a copy. James hadn't responded, but I'll follow up if he doesn't.
I think we can road trip to Auburn.
Yeah.
He may
What's
be tied
your
up until
next
after
step?
Saturday.
So CJ and I are going to talk next week,
Okay.
and we'll do a follow up and see, what sounded like it worked for them, what kind of opportunities, and then what we really think works. And I don't know, how does that sound to y'all? Y'all think
Yeah.
that sounds like good?
Sounds
I
good.
think it's as good an idea. I mean, it's a great idea. I think it's a
Yeah.
great partnership and collaboration between,
Yeah.
and especially with them having the aerospace engineering department and kind of insight into this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they just broke
Shortage.
out, they
Yeah.
just
They're
broke
separate
out
departments.
aviation into its own department.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so that's a positive move.
Definitely.
And I'm gonna say this, I genuinely appreciate Mayor Wilson being there, and I thought she was very supportive. I mean, she was all about trying to make something happen.
Yeah, she is very much. So we'll do it. I think it's great for our kids, it's great for the economy here. The more we can invite this kind of opportunity in.
One number that stuck in my mind was that Delta Airlines is starting out A&Ps now at $80,000 a year.
Yes, that stuck in my. As a matter of fact, I got home and I regurgitated that to my kids. I was like, "Hey, guess what? Did you know?"
And the other thing is that a pilot, lots of things, lots of pilots, but Delta won't interview a pilot unless they have a 4-year degree.
And above a 2.1.
Yeah.
Well, that was funny. He also
Yeah.
said we don't want people landing the plane half the time.
That was,
So
it
they
was
need
good.
to have it. Yeah.
He was
good.
So they have to have a good GPA.
It was very positive.
Mhm. So I'm excited about that, and I was just with Auburn again this morning, working on the waterfront fisheries and our marina, so.
You weren't working on football plans for Saturday?
Oh, in my mind.
I've been thinking about that all day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for putting that together. It really
Yeah,
was-
my pleasure. I look forward to the next steps and keeping y'all informed and,
Sounds promising. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll leave y'all to it.
Okay. Next thing I've done a review of the Sully County Airport minimum standards. Pam's kind of leading that charge, and I guess we'll have a report in December where we are. We've got your input. She's actually put it in a different format, so I think we can. All right. The next reporting item, Joe, the CMS financial report.
The cameras, we're still waiting on.
And I'll talk about, Pam got us some proposals and the cameras are basically $16,000, and it seems reasonable to me. The commitment I got from Bill Stromberg is that we would buy the cameras and install the cameras in the gate locks if in January that he would integrate our system into CMS's system. I don't want a standalone airport authority camera, you know what I'm saying, that it would be truly an integrated system that someone's monitoring and we know when things break and whatever, we just wouldn't have cameras on the fence line that no one monitored, no one knew that were working. So Bill Stromberg said they couldn't do it this year,
Right.
but they would do it, that they would be on, it would be be a priority for January of 2018. Now, having said that, Bill Stromberg is retiring in December. I don't know if y'all knew that. So anyway, but he did promise me that he would, he promised me his discussion would be on their to-do list. But I'd like to go forward with those cameras, only if I get a commitment from Ross that he'll integrate that into his system. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think for purposes of this meeting and the amount that we'd be spending, I think it's just a talking point. I'm not sure we're not gonna run out of time for an item of that budget magnitude. Can we, I mean?
Well, I'm gonna have that conversation with Rhett and just say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go ahead, but we want your IT guy to help us put it in, and we want you to make sure it's integrated into Continental system.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm just, if Rhett doesn't, so are we ordering them before or after that discussion?
I'll order them after that discussion.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Okay. Joe?
The concrete, we got the estimate on already.
$40,000
Did
a
you,
little high.
did you speak with him about
I
that?
hadn't talked to him. You know where the fuel trucks are? To dig that area out and replace it, I guess dig it out and replace it with 6 inches of, Newport concrete from Walton Construction was $40,000.
But I don't know if that was for the
I don't know if it
entire
was the whole
pad, because I
area.
told him to do an estimate for both, for half of it, which was the worst side, and then, and of course, the other side at a later date.
Did Vince have a chance to look at that estimate?
I sent it to him, he hadn't responded.
Okay, yeah.
I think if it's,
We can keep it
I
charged.
want Vince to look at it, we got an estimate. I'm not gonna, $40,000 seems high to me, that's a lot.
It does seem high.
That
It
priority
is.
would not be my highest priority, to spend that money.
But the side that's deteriorated, it is very bad.
And the issue there is that we have those fuel trucks storing there, and that's, the rebar is actually sticking up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We could have a, potential safety issue.
I hadn't looked at it.
I think there's a couple different ways to look at it. I'd like to talk to Vince about it. I don't know that, I mean, I know we do have some rebar there, but there's kind of a
Maybe we could
mill
put-
and fill type program that
Maybe-
you can also do on there, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, we told Johnny Walton we wanted, I didn't say, what's your best idea?
Because that concrete in the worst section that's broken up, you can reach down and pick it up in chunks and move it
We'll
out.
do
But-
that.
But it's,
No, I think there's some. I just think,
I think
We
that
gotta put-
estimate is way too high.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
it's
yeah,
probably what, like a 40 by 60 spot or something?
I'll send you the estimate, he's got quantities and materials and everything, I'll send you that, that way you can, if you want, you and Vince can look at it
Yeah,
together.
okay.
and I spoke with the public safety today on the helipad. What they're doing now, towing their skid out there and launcher from there,
They're cool?
they're fine with that.
Okay. So that's
And
a,
it's
that's a
not-
resolved issue then?
Right, because they can hover taxi, it's not going to affect any of the tied down aircraft.
Okay.
And if they do, and we did discuss, they have larger aircraft that come down occasionally from Montgomery,
Mhm.
and they can use the old taxiway if they have to, but it's not an issue.
So that's resolved.
Right. The distance markers on all the lights, Kyle Kleiner is, we're just waiting on those to be shipped.
I think we're
Delivered.
waiting for the distance mark on the run, that's an insurance item.
Right.
It's a 6-week lead time, I think that's been ordered.
Right.
We're waiting for it. Under Chip's leadership, we've made a conscious effort to get all the lights back working. We've had some, and I think we're probably at 95%, which is probably
Right.
the highest we've been in a while.
Are all the runway lights working, the PAPI, the runway and identifier lights, and the edge lights?
There might be, I think I landed on Sunday night, was it? And I counted 4 or 5.
Yeah, there was
It might be out.
6 runway lights that we're waiting on.
Runway
on-
lights,
on them to
PAPI
be
The edge
was
delivered.
lights,
working,
but the
edge.
PAPI and the runway and the identifier.
Yeah.
Because those do require a node.
Yeah, so they were working. They were working. On Sunday night, they were. And we just kind of,
The PAPI and real lights have always been our priorities, and they are working. They are working. And then Joe is gonna, once a month, before this meeting, is gonna give us a report of what percentage are out. And I guess your report is that we've got 95%.
Correct. There are six runway lights that are out, and four of the directional signs that are still not working, and that's because of the circuit board issue. Or I think it was the transformer that was affecting those.
But we've got a plan, we're working the plan. I expect to report in December that we'll have everything operational, and we've done some things a little differently, but we're gonna work through this. And we spent some money too. We've probably spent $8,000 or $9,000 getting to this point, but it's just something that we needed to do.
Then I spoke with Brian Dunn today. He came out to do an estimate
Yeah.
on the striping, so he's working that estimate up right now.
And when he comes out the stripe, can you highlight the heliport too? At heliport, can you stripe the?
We can do that area and just make it a non-movement area.
Yeah.
Just a quick note, we need to be real careful when we say things like landing a helicopter. They're not authorized to take off or land, they're authorized to go into a hover. And hover to the taxiway or the runway. They cannot take off or land directly to the ramp. So I think what you're talking about is the round H, that's only used to take off the land, but
I'm learning as yes, I understand that.
the area where we were talking about striking is actually the ramp. I know you have a taxiway on here, but we were talking about the south ramp.
So that's what it should be, Joe, the ramp where we're gonna strike?
Correct. In front of the, and we can go right to that with the, all their construction material has been removed from the field right next to the public safety, so it's clear, it's clean and it's cleared.
Yeah.
There's nothing left there. The, on the culvert, that was David Young that I sent the pictures to about, he's the gentleman that designs or builds the walkways that's gonna go across the culvert, so I'm waiting on an estimate from him.
Is it gonna be a wooden culvert or a metal culvert? I mean, wooden bridge or a metal?
I asked him to do one for just a metal grate,
Yeah.
like a catwalk almost,
Yeah.
with, that'll traverse that culvert. But that way it'd be a galvanized metal. It won't, because if you put pressure treated lumber, eventually it's gonna rot.
Yeah.
And in the weather stripping, we have rolls of it to replace in the door seals.
Okay.
It's just a matter of taking the screws out, sliding the old weather stripping out, inserting the
So
new weather stripping.
so you're in the process of doing that?
Right.
Just for which hangers?
All the ones that need it on all the T hangers.
Not all of them at once, but just the ones that need it?
Right. You got the old T hangers and the newer, the old city hangers and the newer T hangers.
Does that include the sweeps also, Joe?
Yes, I'm getting rolls of those as well, so we can put those along the bottom of the doors.
Okay. Anything else? Anything needs to be added to the list?
We did an inspection a while back, Joe and I did, and we noted that there were fire extinguishers in some of the old hangars, but not in the new hangars. I did confirm with Chip, it is required in the minimum standards under 2G,
Okay.
sorry, correction, 5GAX. Each FBO shall provide an adequate supply of properly located type, size, and protective equipment. All fire extinguishers must be current. I did check with Chip, they are required to have fire extinguishers in all the T hangars and ramp areas, and right now, those are not in place. I know
So-
Joe's working on that.
Skelton
Go
came
ahead.
out, Skelton came out to give us an estimate on the fire extinguishers and also on extinguishers for the ramp.
How many extinguishers do you think we'll need?
One T, he's gonna bring 24,
Wow.
but there's some hangars that already have them in there, so he's gonna mount them, so it'd be less than that. So 20,
The
18s around there.
And you think this is a CMS expense?
Yes,
It
sir.
is, Chip.
It's
Chip
required by
reviewed
the.
it.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
The grass cutting,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna cut the grass anymore until March,
But-
but I've had that conversation.
Yeah.
We're gonna fully delineate what we're gonna, I mean, we'll
Right.
get the grass cut. Yeah, I've got an understanding of Kyle, what you're gonna
Okay.
cut.
especially around all the taxiway lights and the runway lights, being able to edge,
Yeah.
trim all the,
Yeah.
and then the
And we've also got, we also
spraying the
have
grass.
to cut the grass on the east side too. I mean, again, I'm not gonna, we're through our, we do 8 grass cuttings a year,
Right.
and we're through our grass cuttings for the year. I mean, we'll start again in March, but we've gotta add, cut grass on the east side too.
Right.
So,
And then spraying the cracks in the old taxiway and the runway for.
Yeah, that was part of the, y'all saw I sent all of you the, report, from the Aeronautics Bureau, and that was one of their findings was, spray, I guess more on the taxiway than on the main runway, is that right?
Correct.
And then we replaced the lights for the, that showed the, on the windsock.
Yes, sir.
We've done that?
They're working.
Okay. Okay. So there were 3, there were lights, just general lights,
Mhm.
the windsock light, and spraying the weed, okay.
Correct.
That's good. Anything else? Okay, treasurer's report?
You guys got a copy of the latest balance sheet and statement. The expenditures for the month that were very limited. As he just mentioned, the last payment to Bushwhackers, the grass cutting service was made, so
There was one that was classified slided wrong, that was a $22,641 charge to a company in Greenwood, Mississippi for Leo Murphy's company. It was slided in ground maintenance. It should have been slided in buildings and maintenance. It was for some repair for some lights, but we have paid that. That was just, I didn't catch it till this afternoon. So,
Is there anything else, Joe, that you can,
pretty much, I mean, we.
Color.
Basically, we set up the, we've got 148,000 in that PNC account that we'll basically use for the 2017, 2018, our 5% contribution. So we basically have about $300,000 in cash, basically operating cash this year. So we're fine, we're okay. But we do have about, probably $45,000 to $50,000 for maintenance items, just, but we're okay. Anything else?
No.
We still don't have the, can you go by, Bryant Bank and sign their signature card sometime?
yeah, I can.
Okay, just, that's right.
I talked to her when
I know.
I'm gonna do it. I've just been out of town, so.
Just do that. We still don't have the PNC account, but I'll work on that. We don't write any checks on that. We won't write any checks on that probably for another month. But we have to change all the signature cards. So that's really it. Any other business?
We
Yes.
talked about the holiday closing hours, just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay. Joe?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna be there Thursday morning. I do have a Wheels Up flight coming in at 7:30, so I will be there to fuel
on Wednesday.
on Thursday,
On Thursday.
Thanksgiving Day.
So I didn't. So you charge him $500 for a special?
That's
call?
not, no, sir, that's not what, that's what Continental, when I took over, that's what they've been charging for a call out, and I'm basing this on, if they purchase fuel, which the call outs that I've been to or been there for, I have not charged the customer that because they purchased fuel.
Okay.
But I am gonna base the call out fee on the type aircraft, and,
How much
but it is high,
Yeah.
and it's just too high.
So traditionally, we've closed Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day, is that right?
Yes, sir.
But I never remember the board approving those days.
And according to the lease, they have to be approved.
They do have, and
Right.
since we don't have a quorum, we can't really approve them today, but, well, anyway, I think if you should note them, tell people that you're closed on
Right.
Thanksgiving, I think we're fine.
And I've already notified all the base customers, and I've posted a sign in the lobby as well as on the door. But I do have my number if there is an emergency or a customer needs assistance to call the number.
And going forward, the authority will approve, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, the meeting beforehand.
Right.
Does that make sense, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've been remiss in doing that before. Any other new business or any other business? Okay, Josh, we're gonna go into executive session and talk about something, but since we're not going into executive session, why don't you just tell everybody about the lawsuit? Can you do that?
I would like not to.
Okay. Then
It's pending litigation. It's something that should be talked about in executive session.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Well, since we never actually opened, we won't adjourn then.
Could you go back to the east side terminal plan and tell me exactly what's pending approval?
There's a map. So, yeah.
It's the one you sent out.
Sent it out last meeting, we approved it, and then went to FAA for final approval.
And is this the one that didn't get under the wire for the current year?
No, no.
Thank you, sir.
That's the ultimate build-out plan. That is the disconnect between funding and the plan. The plan is up for approval now. And the plan, that plan is what is gonna guide funding. It had nothing about not being funded this year. The money would have come, we've been spending we spent $11 million without having that plan in place, you know, so that, I'm not sure that's, but we formalized the plan, and we're actually, you know, we've actually changed some ownership issues on some of the land and whatever, that, as part of that plan.
But the application that's pending approval now is for what? What
It's-
portion
it's
of it?
to approve the east side plan.
The whole plan
The east side, yes.
as a map to
As
go
a-
back?
As a master plan.
Okay.
Now, there was, yeah.
No funding involved in this
No
approval
fund-
that
this
you're
is
talking
approval of the
about?
plan.
Okay.
Next year, we'll start the approval process for the application. We've actually already applied. We did a pre-application in August. The way I understand the process is that in January, Dr. Egerton and Kevin Morgan, our contact with FAA, sit down and they prioritize the state list. And then at that point in time, Kevin Morgan takes the plan, you know, they analyze the plan, and then they prioritize it regionally, and we get a confirmation usually in the April, May timeframe. Now, having said that, we got a promise last year in April that we were gonna go forward, and then in July, we lost the funding.
Yeah,
So,
I remember. Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Got it.
anything else, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for coming. Sorry for the little hiccup.
No problem.
Happy Thanksgiving.